he made a few comments that I disagree with. Like, people in Afghanistan want to live under Sharia. Well, that is true. That part that you disagree with, that is true about Afghanistan more than any other country. So I don't know why you disagree with that one. And those who don't should have left. Okay, so that might be a little bit more controversial. We'll see if he actually said that, or if you're misquoting him. Okay, let's see. I hope you're not misquoting anybody here. Wait, guys, do you have audio? I think I forgot to share audio. Sorry, hold on. Chrome tab. The Taliban, share audio. Share. All right, let me know if you have audio, okay?
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Many people have asked me to talk about the situation in Afghanistan, the advances of the...
How about now? Good audio?
Taliban. I have been loosely following the news, the updates on how the Taliban is proceeding and taking over city after city. The issue is, I have always favored the idea that America should get out of those countries, should stop.
Same. I think so too. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't deny. Like, the difference is that a lot of people deny that what was about to happen to Afghanistan, what was possibly going to happen to Afghanistan when they pull out, when the United States pulls out, and anybody who mentioned it, they accuse them of trying to, as if they're suggesting that therefore the United States should stay. No, okay, just like people like us who mentioned the devastation that Afghanistan is going to go through after United States leave. That was not by its own a suggestion that United States has to stay. Okay, that was just accepting reality. Okay, hold on.
Stop being involved in conflicts in Islamic countries because it.
Okay, so I don't think it's black and white about it. Like, I do think, like, I'm not saying Apostate Prophet is saying being black and white because this is a short video, right? But not being involved is too much of an ask. Maybe not being disinvolved, okay? Because every country is politically involved in every other country. And if you're a superpower, you're going to be more involved just because you can be, right? Like, it's just like, it's not like you can't be involved. Like, obviously, it's like, it's going to impact United States somehow. There will always be some level of involvement. But this amount of military involvement, that's something that we are against, okay? But obviously everybody's like involved in everything else.
Should get out of those countries, should stop being involved in conflicts in Islamic countries.
Maybe, okay, so the only thing I would change here is stop being disinvolved, okay? Because it's too much of an ask to not be involved at all. Like, how, you're a superpower. Like, every country that is not even a superpower is involved in every other country on the planet.
Because it is of no use to anybody anymore. All that America is doing is wasting resources, wasting the money of Americans, and trying to help or trying to impose our way of living on people who really don't like America, who really don't like the West.
So that was not the actual intention of them being there. The intention was to maybe stop making Afghanistan a hotbed for groups that might eventually attack United States. But the understanding is that the types of operations that United States has to prevent measures like that, there are other better ways to do that other than just occupying a country with your military. Like, that's just the most inefficient, costly way of doing it. And other intentions are to secure a government that will have a relationship with the United States, that will have geopolitical and economic interests that will maintain the geopolitical and economic interests for United States, especially with how much China is going to be interested in Afghanistan right now. So maybe like pushing back against that was also a big part of the motivation. I don't think like United States motivation was, I mean, maybe there was marketed that way, but I don't think it was ever like, oh yeah, we're here because we want to make sure that these people's way of life is like our way of life. I don't think that was ever a major part of the decision-making process. I mean, that's a good way to like to tell people that, oh, that's what we're here for. But I don't think it was ever that. I mean, do you guys disagree? Let me know if you disagree.
Who don't want any of this. When you look at Afghanistan, as soon as the American forces retreat, step back, get out, a major force like the Taliban, which was supposed to be the major enemy in the region, rapidly takes over the entire country. And that doesn't happen because they are so powerful and nobody can stop them. It happens because there is not very much resistance within the country.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of both. The second, he's right that's because there's no resistance, more like no resistance, apparently. But to be fair, the Taliban has proven itself very capable of resisting like defeat. Like they have been very impressive in their demonstrating their capabilities. And before them, the Mujahideen that was before them as well. Like, I mean, the Russians experienced that as well. I mean, even the Taliban, when they were originally fighting against other Mujahideen, like, I don't know, if you look in the 1970s when the Taliban were fighting other Mujahideens, they had a history of like just taking over Afghanistan at rapid speed back then as well. Like, this is the second time Taliban is going through, oh yeah, we're just going to take over Afghanistan and we're going to do it faster than anybody has ever anticipated. This is the second time this is happening in history. Like, if you look at the origins of Taliban, that happened before as well. And at that time, you could be like, oh yeah, Afghanistan is where empires go to die and they can't defeat the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. I mean, Taliban was fighting other Mujahideens in Afghanistan. like they have even a record of defeating other people like them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like other foreigners come here and Talibans defeat them. No, Taliban has a history of defeating other people who are local and know Afghanistan and are also like hiding in the mountains, and they even defeat them. So, I mean, they have a pretty impressive track record. Like, I don't know, like, so it's not. I don't think it's fair to say like that the Taliban hasn't been impressive in their capabilities. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Taliban today is different from the Taliban now. But if there's anything that connects them, then their track record is pretty impressive. I mean, the main thing that the Taliban has is patience. Like, their thinking is like long term. Like, they lose like a battle to United States like 20 years ago, and people are like, Taliban defeated. They're like, well, I mean, this is just like, we have time, this was just one battle. Like, we have time. Like, we could wait this out. We'll see what happens. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, Taliban doesn't think like in 1 year, 2 year time spans. They're extremely patient and they're willing to fight a very long, slow battle if they need to. They can hide in their caves for a very long time and ready to pounce back. I mean, at least that's how they think. I'm not saying that will always be successful. Yeah, I understand Taliban is strong only because of Pakistan. Yeah, I mean, of course, they were the ones who started it. Well, not only because of Pakistan. I mean, who gave the money to Pakistan for Pakistan's government to support Taliban? It was Saudi Arabia and United States.
People don't want to point this out, but when we're talking about Afghanistan, we're not talking about a country whose population desperately wants to be secular and free, but which is forced and oppressed by an extremist group like the Taliban. No.
See, this is the part you guys don't like, because you want to think like the Afghani people are like being oppressed by the certain ideology that they don't like, and we're like here on the side of the oppressed. I mean, they are oppressed, but they're also oppressed by themselves, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is self-oppression somewhat when it comes to ideology. But you guys don't like that because you want everything to be black and white, and you want to take the side of like, oh, we're on the side of the people who are the goodies, and they agree with us, and they want secularism, and they want democracy, and we're against these. You want an underdog, and you want these people who are good, and you're on your side, and you want to feel like you're supporting this completely, everything that you see the baddies and the goodies. They're like, oh, the baddies are these Islamist, theocratic, authoritarian regime, and they're like, and we're secular, and we're for democracy and peace and all. And look at these, oh look, Islam bad, so like, and the people, they don't want that, and we're on the side of the people. We're for the people. We're the people who want some democracy and secularism, and we're against the baddie people who are like the radicals and the Islam. And you're like, you just want to divide everything into such simple black and white, so you could feel good that you're on the right side against the bad, you're on the good side against the bad guys, right? But things are not that. So that's why I think a lot of you, when you watch Apostate Prophet's video, you were kind of like triggered, right? Because you're like, he's like, oh no, Apostate Prophet is blaming the people, but we're on the side of the people, and like we're not on this, we're supposed to be on the side of the people against Taliban. But Apostate Prophet is saying the people want some of this. Well, he's right. I mean, I showed you the data.
No, we're talking about a country whose population mostly wants to be ruled by strict Islamic laws.
Yeah.
Yes, even Donald Trump pointed this out several years ago.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the population of Afghanistan.
I mean, guys, like, just to be clear, it's surprising. I know it's shocking, and it's shocking to me as well. But not everything Trump says is wrong. I know it's shocking. I'm shocked as well.
Wants to be ruled.
Like, yeah, this is exactly what I showed you guys. Like, that's the exact stats. It's 99%, guys. This was 27. Wait, was this 2017? I thought this was 2013. Okay, maybe he has access to more recent data that I have. Well, if his data is more recent than mine, that means it hasn't changed much. It still remains 99%. Because the data I have is from 2013, and that was 99% as well.
With Islamic Sharia law, the vast majority of people in Afghanistan believes that women must.
Oh my God! Look at that. This question asks: should women decide if they wear a veil? Guys, you're saying you don't agree. You guys are saying you don't agree with the Apostate Prophet. He's not just giving you his opinion. He's putting stats on the screen for you, and it's like he's giving you the sources. He's putting the stats on the screen, and he's giving you sources, and you're saying like, I don't agree with his opinion. It's not his opinion. He's stating facts, and he's giving you citation. What, like, did you go and check the citation and you thought like, oh, you thought that he's giving you the wrong data? Like, what is it exactly that you guys are disagreeing with him right here? I don't understand.
Must be veiled. That it is an obligation to spread Islam to others.
Look, the question: converting others in Islam, and is it others? Wait, converting others is a religious duty. So Afghanistan is 96. Not only is 96 is constantly worse than every other country. Like, look, guys, every time we think like really bad opinions in Islamic countries, Pakistan and Bangladesh are always like some of the worst that comes to our mind. I mean, Pakistan. We're talking Pakistan here, okay? But look, Afghanistan scores worse than Pakistan and Bangladesh. Like, it's not just bad, it's the worst. When it comes to opinions, what was the other one? Should women decide if they wear a veil? Look, Afghanistan is worse than Pakistan and Bangladesh. In every one of these stats, Afghanistan has the worst stats. What are you guys disagreeing with?
Others. That people who leave Islam should be punished with death.
Look at this. Guys, they're talking about me. 80% of Afghanistan's people think that I should die. Puya is saying, for the record, I loved AP's video, just had a problem with a few comments. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if he says that second part that you mentioned.
That adultery should be punished with death. And
oh my God. Oh, wow. Finally, one thing that Pakistan is worse than Afghanistan with the adultery thing.
Those people in Afghanistan who want to be free and who want to live a secular, beautiful life should have left Afghanistan long ago.
Okay, he did say that. Okay, so I do disagree with this part because it's not that easy. Apostate Prophet. Okay, I agreed with everything else he said, but I can tell you that a lot of the people that you just mentioned have wanted to leave and couldn't. Okay, one. Two, even if they could and didn't, I don't think there's any should here, because there are some people who decide that, no, I want to stay and fight. I know it's hopeless. I know it seems like I can't change this country, but I'm going to decide to stay and change this country for the better. I'm going to make an effort. Okay. So, I mean, I don't think that's, I mean, I admire people who make that decision. So I don't think like, I do disagree with this part where he says the people who wanted to live in a secular country, they should have left first, because a lot of them want to and couldn't. It's, guys, like Afghanistan's passport is not like a very powerful passport that you could just like pick it, just leave and go and stay. I mean, it's easier to leave, it's harder to stay. Like you can't just get permanent residency, right? Just outside of Afghanistan. It's like, it's incredibly difficult. It's very, like, I think people with more powerful passports, like a American passport or Canadian passport or European passport, they, I mean, even a Turkish passport, right? They underestimate how difficult it is for people with like an Iranian passport or an Afghan passport, I don't know, or a Kenyan passport, to just pick up and just go and live in another country. Like, it doesn't work like that, right? And both financially and legally, it's very, very difficult. Okay. But even if you could, if somebody decides like, no, I want to live in a secular country, however, I'm going to sacrifice my desires because I want to make this country more secular. I know the odds are against me, but the odds were against other people who made their country secular as well, right? Like the people who decided to fight for secularism and freedom of speech and women's rights in the countries that have it now. It seemed to be against odds on those countries at some point as well, but somebody made the effort. Somebody made the sacrifice. So I want to do that here as well, okay? And I think that should be admired. Like even now, I see some activists in Afghanistan who had the opportunity to leave and are now, their lives are in danger. And now they're saying like, yeah, no, I'm going to stay. Even now I'm going to stay. Things are really horrible. But like people who helped the United States Army, for example, they have the opportunity right now more than other people to leave. But some of them are saying they're going to stay behind because they care so much about the country that they want to help it, you know, and they're at extreme danger, right? So I would just like, I mean, I don't want to be too picky, okay, because I'm like language policing Apostate Prophet here right now, but I just think like he should have said could leave rather than should leave. Like see like what he's saying here,
with death.
By the way, guys, I know this is easy to do after, like when you make videos like this, like you don't always have somebody that is like, I mean, I've said things that I would have said differently if I could, right? But hold on, let me see what he's saying here.
And so on. Those people in Afghanistan who want to be free and who want to live a secular, beautiful life should have left.
See, all I would change is instead of saying should have, I would have changed it to could have. Like, no, I mean, because they couldn't have. Some of them couldn't have. If they could, should have considered, I don't know. Yeah, I disagree with this part. However, the other part I agree with. Yeah.
Afghanistan long ago. And many of them did leave. Many of them live peaceful lives in other countries, including many of them are in the West, because they don't want the strict Islamist way of life. Those who still are there should ask themselves what they are hoping for in a country where, according to Pew Research, 99% of the population wants Islamic Sharia law. So when America leaves this country alone and then the Taliban rapidly takes over the entire country, that is not because of some major force that the Taliban possesses. It is because there is not much resistance within this country, because the people of this country are not people who are very fond of being led by America and becoming like America. In fact, I'm sorry to say this, but when America is there and when America tries to control Afghanistan, then the people are controlled by a force which they absolutely do not want. When the country is ruled,
yeah, I mean, the data does support what he's saying. So far, I only disagree with him saying people should leave
by the Taliban, then people basically get what they want.
Okay, so to be fair though, I don't know if it's not as simple as because they want Sharia, they want Taliban, because we also have data that shows that the support for Taliban has been reduced in the past past couple of years. So it seems like it's a contradiction that people are still supportive of Sharia, but not of Taliban. But that's not a contradiction, because it's not that simple. Okay, like I said, like this goes beyond just like supporting, Islamism or not. It's also in like tribal allegiances, and also based on if people you could still be for Sharia, but if Taliban like blows up something that some innocents die, you might reduce your support for Taliban, or because in the past 20 years there has been a lot of war in Afghanistan. So maybe a lot of people's opposition to Afghanistan would have been not because they're Islamic, but because like enough already. Why are we fighting so much, right? Why can't we have peace? Like that might have been the reason why support for Taliban in the past couple of years has gone down significantly. However, if that's the source of people's, again, I don't know, but if that's the source of the discontent people have for Taliban, then that means like maybe there will come a Taliban takeover. Maybe because like, okay, well, we have a Taliban takeover, that's great. Maybe some people say that because now we will have peace at least, right? Like, guys, if you listen to some people in Kabul right now, they're like, actually, this is better because, yeah, sure, we won't have some freedom, but we remember when Taliban was in power, we had more security. I hear so many people saying that right now in Kabul, okay? You can't just ignore, like, I know there are a whole bunch of people that are extremely scared right now, especially women. Like, that is true. Like, you get opinions on like that as well. But those opinions are right now getting a lot more highlight than so many other people that are like saying, yeah, this is fine. I hear also so many people in Kabul saying, like, I don't care. As long as there's like, we could work and things, like, we don't care. Just let us do our lives. And like, you have to see that it's not black and white, okay? I mean, there are a lot of people that don't mind Taliban taking over in Afghanistan. Okay, so saying, I don't disagree with AP's fact. It's well documented, and the Afghans are sick of war. Okay, all right. So if you just disagree with that part, one thing also about Apostate Prophet video that I have to mention is that I actually like the fact that he came out with this video, because I was getting the impression before when he had the video about Israel and Palestine, because I was criticizing that, because he mentioned, so now he has a video about Afghanistan and he's okay with sharing his opinion, right? So if we disagree with a part of it, we should like, I don't want him to like, we should like, people shouldn't be discouraging him, because it's valuable that a channel like that big is telling you people something that they might not want to hear, right? Like last time when I was criticizing him about the Israel and Palestine thing, was because his video was suggesting that we shouldn't comment on something that our opinions can't make much of a change in, right? But now here he's making a video about Afghanistan, which the same standard if applied here, then we shouldn't be talking about Afghanistan. However, when I talked to him about it, when he came on the Atheist Republic channel and talked and clarified, then his reasoning for not commenting on the Israel-Palestine thing was a lot better than what he mentioned in the video. Because it seemed like the actual reason why he didn't want to talk about Israel and Palestine was because he thought that the situation was more complicated that he's comfortable with coming with a judgment on. And that is such an admirable reason for not commenting on something, right? I mean, in the video, it seemed like he was suggesting that he's not talking about it because what's the point? I mean, if that's the way, then we should all close our channels, in my opinion, right? But so I didn't like his reasoning in the video, but then when he came and talked about it, then his reasoning made a lot of sense. He was like, I looked at the situation, I thought I understand the situation, I looked into it more, it was more complicated that I was comfortable with coming with an opinion with, and that's why I didn't talk about it. That is so admirable. Like, I didn't understand, like, I don't know what the situation was, like, so I didn't want to pretend like I know something that I don't, right? That is such an admirable reason for not talking about something, okay? I wish he said that in the video, though, because in the video, I think he did, once he thought about it, he had a more clear reason, right? So the problem is that even here, right, you guys are saying that's a really crappy thing to say. There are many times I've said something, and then some of you guys in the live chat pushed back on me, and then I rephrase what I've said. This is why I prefer doing the video, this is why the advantage of doing the videos live stream, instead of like editing it, right? I mean, it's not as popular because you can see Apostate Prophet's video, they're shorter, they're to the point, they're edited, they're more fun to watch, okay? So the advantages of the way Apostate Prophet doing a video is because it gets so much more, people love it, right? but it takes a lot more of his time and work and editing and thinking and scripting. But then he's not going to get the pushback that might have made him change the wording of something. So we have to be, even we should criticize, okay? But we also have to be forgiving. How many times have you said something that then somebody pushed back against you, if you had gotten a chance, you would have rephrased the way you said it? That happens to me many times, right? So maybe if you tell Apostate Prophet, like maybe if you talk to him and he said like, okay, Apostate Prophet, you're saying that anybody who doesn't like secularism should leave, but what about the people who can't leave? What about the people who do want to leave, but they would like to sacrifice and help, maybe stay and help, even though it seems against all odds? What if they want to stay and still try their luck and still sacrifice and do something that they think is for the greater good? Maybe as soon as you ask him, then he would be like, yeah, you're right. Maybe he would have said, yeah, you're right. Okay? So criticize, but also like be understanding, right? Be understanding that, you know, maybe like he agrees. And even if he doesn't agree, maybe like his way of thinking, yeah, I don't know, like maybe it's not like he doesn't care about people, right? Maybe his way of coming up with conclusions on what's the best way to help is different, right? And maybe he's wrong, but it doesn't mean that we should like completely dismiss people. And especially because I would love for Apostate Prophet's takes on political stuff like this to be more, I would like his channel to, you know, contribute to takes like this, right? Because there's, you know, I mean, the people who watch his channel already don't like Islam. I mean, how many different ways can you tell people to stay away from Islam? I mean, I don't want him to stop that. Like, I want him to still keep telling people to stay away from Islam. But a channel with that big of an audience, just giving more takes on political stuff will encourage people to have more nuanced takes. Even if it's a disagreement, the disagreement would have to come with some reasoning, and that will encourage more people to think more about how they come up with their conclusions. Okay, so I think it's encouraging.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Callie, you know, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.